Let's have a look in the front compartment. Just inside the front compartment is located the electronic controls cabinet. In the bottom right corner is a latching pin. Lift the pin, the cabinet assembly will swing away. Here the operator can check for the hydraulic tank level using an upper and lower sight glass. The hydraulic tank level must be checked with the tracks retracted, the boom lowered, and the boom retracted. Just inside the compartment is the auxiliary control valve. On the valve, there are a series of handles. These handles are used for emergency operation. In the cab side rear compartment, you'll notice decals for fuel and diesel exhaust fluid, or DEF. Open the door. The fuel level gauge, diesel exhaust fluid tank. The tank is made clear so the operator can visibly see the level. The upper remote control module to access the front compartment on the engine side. Use the key to unlock the compartment. Lift the compartment door. Put the safety latch in place and use the keeper. This will allow access to the machine's batteries and battery disconnect switch. Inside the forward compartment is the central grease lubrication point. This greasing point will lubricate the slew ring, the boom hoist cylinder foot pin, along with the boom pivot pin. To check the oil in the crane's swing drive, raise the top compartment door, install the safety latch, and use the dipstick. Make sure the oil level is above the minimum line. On the back of the boom, there are 8 lubrication points that should be lubricated per the lube chart in the operator's manual. Remove the cover to access the internal grease points. When performing routine maintenance, it is important to note that in the operator's manual, the weekly maintenance interval calls for the track extend beam to be cleaned and greased. In all operations, the track extend beam must remain lubricated. The top sliding surface is the most important. This will allow greasing of the inner slider surfaces and prevent damage to the inner sliding pads of the car body. Daily engine maintenance. Use the dipstick to check the engine oil level. Inspect the sight glass for coolant level. Inspect the engine's drive belts. Once the rear counterweight is assembled, use the keeper pins to secure the counterweight. After the keeper pins are installed, using the remote, lower the lifting cables and connect the lifting cable to the counterweight assembly lifting eye. Install the keeper. Now the counterweight may be lifted. When assembling counterweights, first, start the engine and select upper erection mode with the 3-position crane function switch in the cab. In the rear compartment, monitor the indicator lights on the remote receiver module. With the remote control in hand, twist to release the emergency stop switch. Turn the black knob to on and then speed. This will connect the remote to the module. Notice 2 green lights. In the event of an error or lost connection, the right-hand light or rear light will turn blue. In the event of an error, the red LED will illuminate. In the event of an error, turn the remote off and press the E-stop. To begin again, release the emergency stop, turn the black knob on, and then hold to speed. The 2 LED lights will turn green. This indicates that the remote control is linked to the receiver module and is ready for operation. With the counterweight assembled and the lifting cables connected, link the remote to the remote receiver. Ensure there are no obstructions and begin raising the counterweight. The speed may be adjusted on the remote by holding the black knob to speed and using the top 2 switches to reduce to 25, 50, 75, or 100%. To increase the speed, use the top push button on the right-hand side. With the speed selected and the remote connected, press the lock button to engage the counterweight lock pins. When raising the counterweight, the lock pins will pivot against spring action until the counterweight is raised to the appropriate level. The left push button will control the left lifting cable. The right push button will control the right lifting cable. These switches may be pushed to control the speed of lift. To increase the speed of lift, push the switch further. To decrease the speed of lift, push the button less. When raising the counterweight, keep the counterweight assembly as level as possible. When the counterweight assembly approaches the locking pins, slow the lift. Gently bring the counterweight the remaining amount through the pins. Once the pins have dropped, lower the counterweight to rest on the pins. Ensure the weight is resting on the lock pins by slacking the lifting cable. Counterweight installation is complete. With counterweight assembly complete, turn the remote off, press the emergency stop switch in. This will save the battery in the remote. Place the remote in a safe storage location. GTC 800 and GTC 1200 are equipped with car body jacking system. This jacking system allows the machine to be raised and lowered for assembly and disassembly. Car body jacking system is controlled by the lower erection remote. This remote is similar in appearance to the remote used to raise and lower the counterweight. However, it is not the same remote. To use the car body jack system, First, start the engine and select the car body jack function on the 3-position crane mode switch in the operator's cab. With the mode switch selected, the remote receiver module will show a green and blue LED light. Release the emergency stop. Turn the black knob to speed to link the remote. If the remote control system has an error, a red LED will illuminate. In the error state, the receiver will display an error code. Release the emergency stop, turn the black knob off, restart the remote to initiate operation. In the event of a remote control system failure, manual activation of the car body jacks is achieved by moving the handles mounted on the valve. An optional tethered remote control system is available in place of the radio remote. If the tethered remote is chosen, the remote will be connected at this port. When not in use, ensure the dust plug is in place. The car body jacking system has 2 pinning positions for the jack. The jack is shown in the stowage position for normal operation. To utilize the jacks, we must swing the jacking assembly toward the track and lower the jack cylinder into the jacking position. Move the pin, swing the jack to the center position, and insert the pin. Place the jack pad underneath the jack. Connect the remote. Select the appropriate jack cylinder, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. When using the car body jack remote, use the remote. The base of the remote will match the orientation of the crane. The switches on my left are the devices on my left. The switches on my right are the devices on my right. We're going to use cylinder number 2. Press and hold number 2, and then use the cylinder extend switch. Extending the jack cylinder until it locks into the jack pad. Once the cylinder is locked into the jack pad, take the weight off the pin, remove the keeper, and then remove the pin. pin removed, press and hold number 2 and cylinder retract. This will allow the jack assembly to lower and align the jack in the lifting position. Install the pin and then the keeper. Now, the car body jack assembly may be used to raise the machine. During assembly and disassembly of the tracks, it will be necessary to extend and retract the track extend beams. This can be accomplished using the car body jack remote. Again, the remote will orient from the rear of the crane. This will be the left track. This will be the right track. Press and hold the extend switch or the retract switch to move the desired track. The track frame assembly is locked to the track extend beam using the outer locking mechanism. To release the lock, unlatch the keeper, remove the pin, allow the locking arm to swing downward, pivot each locking tooth outward. Now the track frame is unlocked from the extend beam. To lock, ensure the track extend beam is fully extended into the track frame and center each of the locking arms. Pivot the locking bar upward and insert the pin and keeper. Now the track assembly is locked to the track extend beam. To aid in the installation and removal of the track frame assembly, track frame assembly bars are included with the crane. When removing or installing a track, insert the track frame assembly bar between the car body here and the track frame assembly here. 4 pins and 2 track frame assembly links are provided with the crane. When not in use, these bars are stowed on top of the car body. With the track frame fully extended, the link will not align. It is required to retract the track extend beam to allow the pin to be inserted. With the links inserted and the track frame to track extend beam locking mechanism released, use the remote to retract the extend beam. For assembly, work in the opposite manner to extend the beam into the track frame assembly. The track frame assembly link should never be left between the car body and the track assembly during operation. This will prevent full track extension. Once track frame assembly is completed, remove the assembly link and stow on the car body. When assembly is complete, the car body jack must be returned to the stowed position. Move the keeper. Extend the number 2 cylinder cylinder locking pin must be inserted with the handle facing the track. If inserted with the handle facing the car body counterweight, the jack arm will not pin in the operation position. Install the pin, keeper. Now raise the number 2 cylinder and remove the pad. With the cylinder fully retracted, the jack assembly can be moved to the stowed position or the transport position. There are 3 positions for the jack arms. Parallel to the track extend beam is the stowage position for transportation, where the trailer is placed under the crane in parallel with the track extend beams. For normal operation, the car body jack assembly should be swung inboard against the car body counterweight. At no time should the crane be raised with the car body jack assembly in the operation position or the transportation position. The crane should only be jacked off the ground with the jacking arm into the center position. Once complete, install the pin. Well, that does it for GTC 800 and 900 today. Thank you again for your interest in the GTC series cranes. We hope you find this video informative and helpful.